Hitler actually openly admitted that he studied the laws,
Yep.
Eugenics laws on the books in America, like Buck versus Bell in 1927, which upheld Virginia's mandated sterilization law of those labeled unfit to reproduce. Did you know? Who's heard of Buck versus Bell, by the way? See? Isn't that crazy? It's one of the most atrocious, controversial Supreme Court decisions, right up there with Dred Scott. The hidden history of the secular moral revolution. I found a report from 2020 the other day. I'm going to include references to this. And by the way, I have a book coming out called The 1916 Project. So for the nerds who want to go deeper, don't worry. It'll have more than the film. This report looked at the 9 most commonly used high school history textbooks in the United States of America. Any coverage of the eugenics movement, the American Eugenics Society, Margaret Sanger, and Buck versus Bell are almost entirely absent. Because of the Supreme Court decision, Buck versus Bell, that allowed the state to mandate the sterilization of those labeled unfit to reproduce, over 70,000 people were forcibly sterilized between California and New York in the next 15 years. Meaning forcibly sterilized. Like, we're tying your tubes or snip, snip. You don't get to have kids because you're bad stock. You have bad genes. Margaret Sanger celebrated the Buck versus Bell decision when it was decided. At the Nuremberg trials, guys, the Nazis, in their defense, said, but you guys had Buck versus Bell that allowed the state to mandate the sterilization of those considered a threat to the gene pool. Guys, the Nazis in their defense cited our Supreme Court decision, which Margaret Sanger celebrated when it was decided in 1927. Planned Parenthood isn't just part of the eugenics movement, they are the eugenics movement.
That's right.
Controlling population, breeding the fit, preventing the unfit from reproducing. So her Negro Project in 1939 was an attempt to get black faces to be the front of the propaganda and putting, which is today, by the way, 80% of their Planned Parenthood surgical abortion facilities within walking distance of majority black neighborhoods. As it was in 1939, so it is today. This was intentional. She had someone on her payroll for the Negro Project. It was a Negro Project director. And I've got one of their quotes. You have to dig for this stuff. I found it. Here's what someone on Margaret Sanger's payroll for the Negro Project said. There is a great danger that we will fail because the Negroes think that this is a plan for their extermination. Hence, let's appear to let the colored run it. Let's appear to let the colored run. Which is why today, if you walk into a Planned Parenthood clinic in a black neighborhood, there will be a black man or woman sitting at the front desk to welcome you in. So the mother, whose black unborn child Planned Parenthood has assigned dollar signs to, will feel more comfortable when they see someone who looks like them.